Yo, welcome back, man. So this is gonna be for new people. I thought I would just kind of explain a couple of things here because I have been asked this question quite a bit lately, and they have answered it. And also some of the things are kind of like a standard procedure from GGG. So just to like kind of glance over a couple of things here. Um, First and foremost, they are adding a bunch of microtransactions from PoE 1 into PoE 2. And that will be, we don't really have a list of what's coming, so it's hard to tell what exactly is going to be added. But there will be a bunch of new microtransactions moved from Path of Exile 1 over to Path of Exile 2. So, that being said, I'm gonna kind of like explain something here, which is how your characters are gonna work in terms of the two different types of leagues there'll be. We'll have what we call standard, and then there will be the Dawn of the Hunt. Although you can play all the new content still in standard, which is not normal for GGG. Normally, the new features would only be available within the new league. They chose not to do that this time, which is phenomenal, honestly, because that allows a lot of people to play around with what they already have. But to kind of explain all of these things, we're gonna do it from Path of Exile 1, since I already have a bunch of characters here, and I can kind of show off how it works. Now, in standard, so this is what my standard looks like. I have these characters, and all of them I can still play, right? Like, this is from previous leagues, and if we just like, let's just jump into one real quick, and then I kind of like show you all how the stash and stash tabs works. Because that's one question I've been asked quite a bit lately is, do you lose your stash tabs? No, you do not. So the way that works, if you noticed, I have my big sale tab right here, and it says remove only. And if you look, this is the same exact tab, but this is from the previous league. So all of this stuff was what I had in the previous league. This is what is in standard. Now, if I want to, I can take any of these items, I can pick them out of here and put them into my standard stash, where they'll stay forever and they'll never disappear. This specific stash tab that says remove only, this one will disappear come the next league. So you'll have 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, before the new league starts, to remove anything from that stash tab and put it into your standard stash tab. So that's basically how that part works. So don't be afraid that if you have a bunch of stash tabs that you're gonna lose them. You're not. It will simply just be, you get to choose and pick whatever you want out of your stash tabs that you had, and then move it into your current standard stash tabs. But if you do not remove these things, then when the new league starts and it would like swap this one that's called Big Boy, it'll swap that to the new Big Boy from that previous league, and then all of these things are gone, right? Like everything that's in here, it's gone. But if I pick it out and I put it in here, it will never disappear. So do not worry about losing stash tabs. That will not happen. It'll be free for you to take anything out of them as you feel like. Also, your characters will stay. So if we look here, there's different leagues. We have the Thracia, we have the Settlers, and Solos Elsebound. But if I go to Settlers, now all of these characters will be moved into standard once we get a new league on Path of Exile 1. As you see right here, it says remove only again. This is because we had basically two leagues within the same league. We had the Settlers, and then we had the Necro Settlers. So the ones here that says remove only is from the Necro Settlers. So this is like all of the bases I was gonna craft, but since I never got around to using them, they're just sitting in here. I'm not gonna take them out, I'm not gonna use them. They'll just get deleted at some point in the future. It's not something good, it's just bases to craft with. But as you can see, it says there's like two of the same stash tab, right? Like this is number 6 and this is number 6. Like this one is number 7, this one is number 7. But it is up to me. If I want to take this out and put it in and keep it, I can right now. But since it doesn't really matter with some random bases, I can always find new ones. That is no problem. Now, in terms of the microtransactions, if we go here, we can like look at my microtransactions, and you'll see like I have a handful of different helmets, for instance. One of them being the Veiled Serpent God helmet. And if we go to Path of Exile 2, you'll be able to see this one. It just says not available within the game yet. And now that is what's gonna happen over time. They'll move all of these microtransactions over to Path of Exile 2. It's just gonna take time because they have to kind of like remake all of it, since it's two different games. Or not remake it, but they kind of have to like swap some things around because it might not fit into Path of Exile 2. So do not be worried if you own a couple of microtransactions in Path of Exile 1 and you're not seeing them in Path of Exile 2. They will come over at some point. It's just a question about time. Now, also, there will be a pre-download available for the new update to the Dawn of the Hunt. So that will probably be available around 24 hours before launch. So you can basically go pre-download the update, so you don't have to sit there right as the event starts and then start downloading it. This will not be a paid expansion in terms of you do not have to pay anything extra. If you already have an early access key and you're already playing Path of Exile 2, you're automatically getting the update, and you're automatically getting everything within the update available to you. So do not worry about having to spend any kind of money or anything. This is all gonna be there when you go to download the new update. You'll get everything basically. It's gonna be super simple. Also, the fresh economy start, that basically means that you're starting out with basically 0, right? Like you're starting from scratch. You will not have anything. Your stash tabs will be empty. You'll still have all the stash tabs. They'll just be empty. You'll have nothing. You're starting a new character, and some people might think, why would I ever want to do that? So the idea of doing that is two-part. One, you're not competing with an existing economy, which means there are B people that have stupid amounts of currency and are super rich. Like they'll have 100 mirrors or whatever. If you look at a guy like Empyrean Gaming, I love that guy because end league projects that he makes is sometimes like 100 or 200 or 500 mirrors, whatever they can accumulate, and then they'll make some project, and then it's usually at the end of every league they'll do that. Now, you are basically, when you want to buy an item, you have to compete with a guy like that when the economy is at the end of a league, and there'll be some people who just have unseen amount of riches. And the reason it's better to be in a new economy is the pricing of everything will fit better with all of us because we have nothing, right? So the pricing would be a lot higher in the early days, and then it'll slowly go down, and then the absolute like best items will rise in price while the lower tier items will fall. And then over time, you will have to compete again against people who have unseen riches, right? But if you're starting out in a new league, you have a way better chance of actually making more currency than if you're in an existing league, because everything will be a lot more expensive. Now, if you don't have the time to start a new character, run through everything again, do everything all over, I understand why you would want to stay in standard and keep playing. I myself go back to standard often and play my old characters because I very much so enjoy them. I am super happy with them. I have a fun time. And even though I don't play for like hours and hours and hours, I go in and I play like an hour and something like that on them from time to time, just for to like enjoy what I made. So I totally get the idea of wanting to play something that you're already happy with. Do note that they are gonna nuke every broken build that's available right now. So the dream, as they said in the Q&A after the live stream reveal, is that player power is in the area of like in the range of 50k to 500k DPS. That's basically their dream. But given that we're getting 100 new support gems, you bet you there's gonna be some broken ass stuff in there that just does millions and millions of damage, right? But do not expect to jump on and play your cast on whatever and it works perfectly like it just did before the update. It will probably not. And I'm, of course, one of the people who have one of those builds, so I know my Blood Mage is gonna get gutted, and it will not be good after this update. 99% sure that that thing is gone, and I will have to rethink the build. I will have to change it in order for it to just work. Now, they did say they're gonna give us free respecs in case people want to change their existing characters if they get gutted. So, do not expect to have the heralds chaining full screens, no more cast on millions of damage, one-shotting the Ubers. But as I said, with the 100 new support gems, there'll be other opportunities to make builds like that. But don't get used to it. Please do not get used to that being the way the game is. Because they said the dream is 50k to 500k. If your build is doing more than 500k, that falls outside of the line of their vision. And come the day they put the full game out for free to play and it's all released, those type of builds should be out. And there shouldn't be any more left. So do not get too used to it, because at some point in the future, that will probably not be a thing. As on PoE 1, there is no like overly broken builds per se. There's a lot of really good builds that's like nearly impossible to kill once you get to a certain set or a certain level of gear. But it's not something that should be achievable by putting on 3 items and then you just do like 30 million damage, right? That's not the idea of the game. The idea is that it's somewhat, not necessarily just, but somewhat like PoE1, where there is a clear path towards getting to a build that's super powerful, but it takes time. It's earned. It's not something you gain basically for free by just putting on 3 items. A really good example here for me to use would be this build that I'm currently working on making. Now, this is a Flicker Strike build, and to be honest, this is something that has been in the works for quite a while now. The reason it's been in the work for quite a while is it takes multiple mirrors to complete this build. And as you see, I'm only sitting at 14 mirror shards, so I need at least 6 more to get a mirror, and then I need like 40 divines or whatever to pay the fee to mirror the next item, which would be my... I need the ring next, and then after the ring I'll need the gloves, and the gloves is like 400 divines, so I need a mirror plus 440 divines before the build is technically finished. And for that reason, it has been a long journey to get here, and it'll be an even longer one to complete the build. But I'm okay with that as long as there is a path to the end where I can see, okay, this is where it becomes insane. The last thing that I got personally was this sword, and this is again a mirrored sword, a mirror tier item. If you look at all the stats on it, it's absolutely outrageous, all tier 1 stats. everything in here is crazy, right? Like it's all crazy stats. It's the number one best stats you could have for this weapon, for this specific build. This is not something you come by easy. This is something that takes a long time to gain, right? So do not expect to just put on some cheap shit and then be instantly just breaking the whole thing. It'll take a little bit of time for people to figure out some new stuff that are broken or some new interactions that are broken. I'm expecting the specters and a couple other things to be kind of like, okay, we're gonna probably see something within the first week. But if it's too fucked up or if it's too broken, they will probably jump in and quickly fix it. A good example here was Rutu and Young making a bunch of builds early days in PoE 2, and they went in and instant nerfed all of the stuff they were doing because it was bricking the servers, it was throwing people offline because it was literally too demanding for the servers to run the game. And you can't have a build that's so extreme that it kicks everybody offline, right? Like, because then nobody can enjoy the game. So those type of things will probably get fixed, even though it's not a new update or anything. They'll just go in and real quick change some things so it doesn't ruin the servers and ruin the fun for all of us. So if we look at Path of Exile 2, we have this up here. It says standard, right? There'll be a new tab here, and it's going to say Dawn of the Hunt. And basically, that's how you get to pick between the two leagues and having multiple characters, some in standard, some in the normal, or some in the new league, right? So do note that this is where you can like kind of change it in between the two leagues, and that will be the theme going forward, right? Like, so whenever we get a new league in the future, it'll be the same way. It'll be right here. I'm fully expecting that stuff like the Trample Toes will get gutted because of how powerful and broken they are in terms of the extreme damage you can pull out of these boots themselves. I have 2 builds that's using these boots, and both of them are doing millions of damage. So I'm guessing that these will get gutted in some kind of way. I don't know exactly how that's gonna go about, but we'll have to wait and see for the patch notes to see exactly what changes they're making. Basically, what I would be able to do with this build is I could use these 2 weapons, the boots and the amulet and the rings. I could take off my belt, my gloves, my armor, my helmet, and be able to kill Arbinder, right? And that's what they don't really want. Don't worry though, as I said, there will be other stuff that are fully fucked up. Take advantage of it while you can, because there will be those type of things should be out of the game come full release. So that's what they were saying. They were expecting to see some stuff in the early access that would never be available in the game. That's what they said before they put out early access. And you still get to keep all these characters when the full release comes. So none of your characters will ever get deleted. The only thing that can change is they can nerf certain items or certain skills or certain notes on the tree or certain interactions between certain things. And when they get nerfed, for instance, like let's say they nerf the living shit out of the boots and this build no longer really works, I can't really do any damage. It is what it is. I still have the character and all the gear, I just won't be able to do the same broken stuff that I was beforehand. And it becomes kind of a novelty. You can of course just delete it if you don't want it, but it's up to you. I'm certainly keeping my most beloved characters, so I have something to reminiscence on in the future and go back and think, oh my god, you remember back when we were doing 60 million damage in like one hit? Stuff like that, right? Like, it's just fun. And do not get your hopes up that you get to keep using something that's super broken if it's broken right now, right? That, as I said, that's gonna be gone. Note that I cannot say it enough, so you don't get disappointed when you jump on your monk and it's not clearing, like full screen clears, or if you jump on your stat stacking gemling legionnaire or whatever you're playing with, right, that is just completely overpowered. A lot of those things will be gone, but as I said, there will be new stuff. So if you're one of the people who can only play the game at the, you could say, like at the highest tier, or like use the most OP builds, then you'll have to look towards the future for some new broken builds and not what has just been broken. And just to like kind of like reiterate on the microtransactions, if we go here, you can see like these two are available, and here it says unavailable, for instance, right? So these will be coming over here at some point. It's just not yet. Maybe this update brings these two in. We don't know, right? Like there's no telling what is next up for being transferred from PoE 1. Also, if you watched the live stream and you unlocked the Executioner's finisher effect, and you're having trouble figuring out where it's at, that's another thing I've been asked a lot. You want to go right here. It says weapon added effect, and the Executioner's Guillotine unique finisher effect is right here. Make sure you had, like, this is another thing. You have to have your account linked to your Twitch, and then you have to claim it on Twitch within the, I believe it's within 24 hours from when you get it, right? So if you have not claimed it on Twitch, or if your account wasn't linked, you will not have this thing. Like it will not be here, right? So do make sure you have done those things to gain the stuff that you want, especially when it comes to microtransactions and free drops off of Twitch and stuff like that. Make sure that all is up to date. So yeah, guys, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that gave you the information you were looking for. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to ask me. I am always willing to help in any kind of way I can. Do leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to see more of these things, if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, as you see, like I have done every single ascent. I've tested all of them. I've tried everything out pretty much. And I have a handful of them that I really, really like. And then probably the rest of them, I'll just give them away to random people within the game. Just like I did my Titan. I literally just randomly found a guy yesterday. Oh no, that was the day before. Who was completely new to the game and was running through the campaign. And he asked if somebody could help him kill a boss. I jump in, I help him kill the boss. And I then asked him if he was like new to the game and stuff. And he was like, yeah, this is my first time trying it. It's super cool. And I was like, you know what? Can I donate you a couple of items to help you get through the game? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I just jumped on this character and I dropped him all my gear, all my gems, all my gear, everything I had on the character, gave him the whole thing. So he had like a good start to getting into maps and stuff like that, even though he was only like level 20 something. He now has something to look forward to. So I'm probably gonna do that with a couple more of my builds. I'm just gonna drop them on some random people who are super new to the game, so they have something to look forward to in the future. And yeah, that's gonna be all for me. I hope you guys have a good day, good evening, whatever it is for you, and I will catch you all in the next one.